Finding Your Flow with Darryl Trimmer. I'm Darryl Trimmer. I've been practicing yoga for the last 12 years and teaching for 5. Welcome to Healthletica here, where we're filming on location. Today we are going to be focusing more on twisting the spine. All right, so getting the spine moving in a rotational direction. We will start on our back, so lying down. We'll have left leg straight. We'll bring the arms out to the sides, and you can bend the elbows if you want to. Here, take the right leg in towards your body. All right, and we'll start with a little bit of movement from side to side. You're going to bring your right knee over to the left. Try to keep the right shoulder pinned down to the floor. It doesn't matter how far that right leg's coming. And then we'll bring the right leg back into the center. And we're going to repeat that movement a few times here. So again, right knee goes over to the left, right shoulder stays glued to the floor, taking the hips back down. We're going to do a couple more times. Good, on this one, we're going to hold it there just for a moment. Again, just letting the spine do its work here. And we'll bring it back into the center. This time I'll give you some options, right? We're going to go the same way, except instead of keeping the knee bent, you have the option to straighten the leg as we go out, almost like you're doing the can-can. So you take the right leg over to the left. Option here, if you want to straighten the leg, you can straighten the leg, re-bend the knee, and then take the hip back down. Again, the same thing as you move the leg over to the left, right shoulder stays pinned. Option to straighten the leg, re-bend, and then bring the hips back down. Again, 2 more. Move it over to the left, shoulder stay pinned, straighten the leg if you'd like, bend the knee, and again, take the hip back down. And last one here, so again, as you go over to the left, pause there. You could pause with straight or bent leg. Just remember that straight leg, it makes it a little bit more stressful in the spine and the outer hip. Again, re-bend the knee, take it back down into the center, and we'll straighten the right leg. Again, keep those arms still out to the side, straight or bent, whatever your preference is. Bend the left knee. Again, we'll keep the left knee bent for the first 4 here. Take the left knee over to the right, left shoulder stays glued down to the floor, and then bring the hips back down. Again, same thing. Left knee over to the right, find your twist. Again, bringing the hip back down to the floor. Again, repeat. Again, taking it back. Again, on this 4th one here, pause over to the right. Again, left shoulder still stays glued down. Keep everything just as it is. Again, just for another breath or 2. Again, bringing the hip back down to the floor, into the center. So again, we're going to have our options on this one. Again, bent or straight leg as you go. So again, we keep it bent at first. Take the leg over to the right. Option if you want, straighten the leg, re-bend, and then bring the hip back down. Same thing, rotate over to the right, straighten the leg if you'd like, bend the knee, bring it back into the center. 2 more, again, rotate to the right, straighten the leg if that's your thing, bend the knee, take the hip back down. Good, you got 1 more, and again, we're going to take a pause in that twist. Your choice, straight or bent leg. And re-bend the knee if it's straight. Take the hip down to the floor. Bring both legs in towards you. You're gonna wrap your arms around the shins. Curl yourself into a little ball like a hedgehog, and you can take the chin towards the knees. And then like we're giving yourselves a little massage through the spine, just start to rock back and forth until eventually we make our way to sit. And as you sit up tall here, just send the hips a little bit away from the heels if they're closer in. Bring the hands just a little bit behind you. And about 3 hand widths or so. We're gonna bend the elbows slightly here. I think elbows pointing back behind. And we're gonna look over your left shoulder. So you're gonna send the left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. I think breastbone lifting up so that we're not just letting everything fall towards the floor. And then we're gonna change and go the other way. So now it's the right shoulder starting to drop back, chest still lifting up, left shoulder forward. And we're gonna go the other way. So it should be that little sensation or stretch right through the front of your right shoulder. And then sensation and stretch right through the front of the left as you twist the other way. And a couple more times. If you notice that you start to round or sink towards the floor, and find length in your spine, trying to lift your breastbone towards the ceiling. And changing again. We'll go for one more here. Good, come back into the center. We're gonna slide the heels in towards you like we were doing on our back. Just give yourself a little bit of a hug, round. Let that spine pop out behind you. And again, since things are closing in on the front, send the breath into the back, just letting it expand and open up through each inhale. All right, lifting the hand. Cross your shins. We're gonna come onto our stomachs. As you send the legs back, lie down on the stomach. We'll take the hands out to the side and create a nice little tent with the palm of the hands. So you're on your fingertips. Think elbows just over top of the wrists, elbows in line with the shoulders here. Right, keep a little bit of pressure into those fingertips. We're gonna take an inhale here. We're going to lift the chest up, keep the front of the hips on the floor, hands, think about 20% effort through the arms here, and then we're gonna slowly lower it back down. Again, take that inhale, arch, and then on that exhale, floating it back down to the floor, and again, inhaling, finding that arch here, and then lowering it back down. Good, last one, we're gonna pause at the top. Right, just think about, again, as always, creating that space through the upper part of your spine, pressing the chest forward, right, always going through those little problem areas and not going around them. Lessons for yoga and for life, I guess. On the next exhale, we'll lower back down to the floor and take the hands next to the chest. Press yourself up into a tabletop. So coming to all fours, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. And from here, we'll find our way as we tuck the toes, lift the knees into our downward facing dog. I think lengthening your mat, pressing the hands and feet down, trying to pull the mat apart. Get those hips lifting up. And even think about trying to bring your belly towards the front of your thighs. And we'll take the right foot, step it between the hands. Take the left knee down to the floor. And left hand's gonna stay into the floor, screw the hand into your mat. Take the right hand just to the top of your right leg, press it down, find a twist here. So using a little bit of leverage through the right arm. And make sure that left hip's not sinking down too far. It might drop a little bit, but just make sure it's not falling towards the floor. And we're going to take the hand back down, slide the right leg back, and then we'll come back just nice and steadily into your downward facing dog from there. And as we change our sides, step the left foot between the hands. Take the right knee down to the floor. Good. Right hand's gonna stay where it is. Screw the hand into the floor. I think eye of the elbow pointing forward. Left hand just to the top of the left knee. Press down. Work to twist to the left. Again, notice if that right hip's really sinking towards the floor. Try to lift it a little bit here. We're focusing mainly on the spine and through that rotational capacity. And then take the left hand back down, tuck your right toes, slide the left leg back, and then we can get back into your downward facing dog. All right, just kind of building on what we were doing. Step the right foot between the hands, take the left knee down to the floor, and again, as that left hand stays down, screw the hand into the floor, take the right hand to the top of your right leg, press it, find your rotation here. We'll take your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Doesn't have to go down very far. Bring the hands together, press that left elbow into the outside of your knee, think knee pushing back against the elbow. Again, as you take another breath here, come back to the center. Bring the hands down. And we're going to lift the left foot off of the floor, spin that left foot over to the right, and then bring the hips down behind that left leg. We're going to slide the right foot in. So I think outer edge of the foot in line with the outer edge of your hip. Right hand comes down just behind you. Lift the breastbone up. Take the left arm, hug the right leg, and again, we're going to continue twisting in the exact same direction where we were before. We can even use that right hand to support the spine, creating that lift and length through it. And come back into the center, and as you turn to face the front, lift the right foot off the floor, take your left hand, hold onto the heel. Spin so that right foot's trying to move towards the left shoulder, and just take the right hand underneath the knee here. You're gonna pause. If you wanna go a little bit further, you can always grab onto the right foot with the right hand, take the crease of the elbow to the outside of the foot, and then pull it in. So again, you have your two options, either holding onto the right foot with the left hand or hugging it in and interlacing the fingers or even binding them as well. And then slowly releasing whatever grip that you have on the leg. Take the right foot forward. Use your hands if you need. We're going to press ourselves up, back into that little lunging pose. Take the hands down. And again, when we get there, back into your downward facing dog. And moving on to the left leg, and step the left foot between the hands, right knee comes down, right hand stays glued to the mat at first, screw the hand into the floor, take the left hand to the top of the left knee, press down, work through your rotation. And keeping everything the same, take the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Again, doesn't have to go down very far. Palms come together. Press the palms together, Elbow starts to push into the knee a little bit, knee starts to push back against the elbow. I'd come back into the center, take the hands down, lift your right foot, spin that foot over to the left. Again, however you get there, we're gonna take the hips behind that right shin, slide the left foot in, and think outer edge of the foot in line with the outer edge of the hip. Right arm comes, hugs the leg in, left hand just behind the hip, push down, find your length, then twist left. Again, using that left hand as a little bit of support here to try to lengthen and to move through the spine. Coming back into the center. And same two options as last time. We will start though with the right hand holding onto your left heel. Doesn't matter if it's out here or a little bit further in. You can have the left hand just cupping the knee. Again, if you're going further, left hand grabs onto your right foot. Bring the eye of the elbow of that right arm in, and you can bind or interlace the fingers around the leg. Sit up nice and tall, and just take a little quiet moment here to yourself. And releasing the leg. And we'll take the left foot, step it forward. Hands if you need, no hands if you don't need. We're gonna press ourselves up more into that low lunge position. Bring the hands down. Slide the left leg back, tuck your toes, and again, we'll end up back into your downward facing dog. And stepping that right foot between the hands, take the left knee down to the floor. And we'll lift the left foot. Again, pivot on the knee, take the left foot over to the right. And right arm is going to start on top of the right leg. I think maybe a little bit of a sink here, and then squeezing like you're then trying to lift up and away from the floor. Keeping the right arm there is an option. Taking the right hand down is another option. Again, you can keep it there. Take your left hand just to the front of the shoulder, open it up. Maybe reaching that left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, instead of sinking those hips here, think squeezing like you're trying to shorten up the mat. Build strength through the inside of the legs. We'll take the left hand down and just underneath the shoulder, lift that left foot, pivot back, and then we're gonna reach the right arm up to the sky. And use the left arm as that support. You can push down, screw it into the floor, and just think about those fingertips on the right hand floating up towards the ceiling. And right hand comes back down, slide the right leg back, and again, we'll meet in our downward facing dog, however you tend to get there at this point. And as we change sides, left foot comes to the top between the hands, right knee down. And lift the right foot, pivot on the knee, send the right foot over to the left, and we'll start the same. Left arm on top of the left leg, Take the right hand onto the waist, open up to the side, maybe a little bit of a sink here, and then a squeeze to solidify that position at the bottom. Again, you can stay here on the leg, or you can take the hand down to the inside. And open up that shoulder to the side with the right hand, and reaching that right arm back up towards the sky. Again, still working to find that float away from the floor, creating that strength on the inside of the legs. We'll bring the right hand down. Again, press the palm flat, lift the right foot, pivot on the knee. So again, that right foot's back behind you. Send the left arm back to the sky. And push down through the right hand. And as that right hand presses down, those left hands of yours is trying to float a little bit higher up. And taking the left hand down, slide the left leg back. And again, we meet back in that downward facing dog. Good. We'll rock forward into a plank. And if you need to drop the knees to make your way down to the floor, drop the knees to the floor and lower down. If you don't need those knees down, just lower all the way down to your mat. And like we were doing earlier, you'll take the hands out to the sides. And again, come onto your fingertips, creating that nice little tent with the palm of the hands. All right, then hands under the elbows, elbows under the shoulders. All right, take that inhale. Find your arch here. And think upper back doing a lot of the work. And then slowly lowering it back down. Again, same thing. Find that lift on the inhale. And exhaling, lowering it back down. And we'll go for two more. Again, inhaling. Lifting here. Exhaling, lowering it down. Last one. And as you slowly come back down to the floor, and we'll take the hands just underneath the forehead. Give yourself a little bit of a rest. We're going to roll onto your right side. You can have the arm out, or you can cup the hand underneath the head. Bend the left knee. Grab onto your foot if you can. We're going to send the knee back behind you. We're looking for a little bit of a stretch here. Make sure the knee's more or less in line with the hip and the knee's not lifting up. And just take your time. If you want to build a little bit of strength in the stretch as well, you can start to give a little bit of a kick of the foot into the hand, like you're trying to straighten the leg. And then release the foot. We're going to roll all the way onto your left. Again, same option. You can have the arm straight. You can have it bent. You can support your head with your hand. Bend the right knee. And hold onto the foot or ankle on the outside. I think knee going back behind you. Heel comes in towards the hip. And again, start to give a little bit of a kick of the foot into the hand if you want to build that strength through the knee and through the front of the leg. And then relax, and we'll lie down on our back. So just giving you a little tour of your room. And finding your way onto your back, you got three options in your happy baby. Of course, we'll start with the lowest common denominator, taking your peace fingers, grabbing onto the big toe as the arms come to the inside of the legs. Right? Taking the hands to the outside of your feet or holding onto your heels for something a little bit more intense through the back. And just let the knees sink towards the floor. Let those toes point to the earth. Release your feet, but keep those legs up. Hold onto the outer edge of the feet if you weren't already there. And bring the soles of the feet together. Think heels coming in towards your hip. Squeeze your butt and then push the knees away from you. Think about creating some space on the inside of the legs here. And you can always just relax those shoulders down, unless of course you got a little bit shorter arms and you need to come up. And just let yourself just sink into your mat at this point. And then nice and slow as you release your feet. And bring the legs straight. Take the arms next to your sides. Again, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Close the eyes. Again, take this time, about 5 minutes to yourself, just to find a little bit of space and relaxation. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time.